I was still pretty green at the time. Fresh CDL. 6 months solo. Maybe. Confident enough to feel comfortable. Dumb enough to think that meant I knew what I was doing. It was an easy run on paper. Dry van. Nothing special. Just an overnight push on a long 2-lane highway that cut through open land and fence line and nothing else. One of those roads where the radio fades in and out and the dash lights feel like the only thing alive with you. I'd been rolling a couple hours. Traffic was almost non-existent. Hadn't passed another set of headlights in a while. That's when I saw the car. Pulled over on the shoulder. Half on gravel, half on asphalt. Hood popped. Hazards flashing slow. Like they'd been blinking a long time. And standing out front, a woman. Dark jacket, hands tucked into the sleeves. Hair moving in the wind as I rolled past. She didn't wave. Didn't jump around. Just stood there and watched me go by. I slowed without really thinking about it. That part still bothers me. It was automatic. I remember thinking, she's done for if nobody stops. Middle of nowhere, cold night, no town for miles. So I pulled onto the shoulder about 100 yards ahead so I wouldn't block the road. Not that anyone else was using it. Set my brakes, threw on my vest, and grabbed my flashlight. Just trying to do the right thing. As I walked back, that quiet, uneasy feeling slid in. Not loud, not dramatic, just wrong. She stayed by the hood, didn't walk toward me, didn't shout. I asked if she was okay. She nodded and said the car died for no reason. Said her phone had no service. Said nobody had stopped yet. Her voice was calm, too calm. I asked if she wanted me to radio for help. She took a half step closer to my truck and said, "If you back up right here, we can jump it real quick." And that's when I noticed. There were no cables, no roadside kit, no triangle, nothing. Just her, the car, and black space on every side of the road. I hesitated. Told her I'd have to turn around to line the truck upright. She said that was fine. As I turned back toward my cab, I caught movement across the road in the ditch. Not fast, not obvious, just out of place. Like shadows adjusting where they shouldn't. My stomach dropped. I didn't turn my back fully after that. Walked backward the rest of the way with my flashlight sweeping side to side like I was pretending to look for something. From the steps of my truck, I could see them clearly now. 2 shapes in the ditch. Low, crouched, staying still when the light passed over them, waiting. The woman started walking toward my bumper, slow, casual, like she already knew how this was supposed to end. Something in me finally flipped on, that deep instinct that says the next wrong move costs everything. I climbed into the cab. She stopped a few steps behind my trailer, just outside the glow of my rear lights. Just stood there in the dark. I cracked the window an inch and told her I couldn't help. Said company policy. Said I already called it in. Her face changed. No fear, no anger, just empty. Then a hand lifted up from the ditch across the road. Then another. Metal caught my headlights for half a second. I floored it. Gravel sprayed. The trailer jerked. My mirrors rattled so hard I could barely see straight. In the mirror, I watched them sprint for the car. No panic, no hesitation, just business. The woman disappeared into the passenger seat. Hazard lights went dark. The engine fired instantly. And then they were behind me. They followed for about 5 minutes. Never tried to pass. Never fell back. Just kept their headlights locked in my mirrors. So close, I couldn't even see the hood of their car. My hands were numb on the wheel, mouth dry. Every safety video I ever half watched suddenly loud in my head. I stayed on it, didn't slow, didn't brake check, just kept pushing. Eventually I saw lights ahead, a small highway junction, closed gas station, sheriff's substation next door. The second my headlights washed over those signs, they killed their lights. No brakes, no taillights, just gone. I pulled straight into the sheriff's lot and sat there shaking until someone came out. They took the report, didn't look surprised, said they'd been hitting truckers for months, robbing some, dragging others into the ditch. Said the woman always stood by the hood, said the car always started just fine when they were done waiting. I never stop for roadside breakdowns anymore. Doesn't matter who it is, doesn't matter how bad it looks. I'll call it in. I'll flash my lights, but I won't step back out into that dark. Because some nights, the people on the shoulder aren't stranded. They're just waiting for you to take the bait. I didn't think anything was wrong at first. That's probably the worst part of it. If something feels off right away, you're cautious. That night felt normal. It was just after 2 a.m, farm country, flat highway, no towns, no lights. Just reflectors drifting past and the steady hum of the truck. I was wide awake, coffee still warm, clear weather. One of those nights where you settle into the miles and let your mind wander. Then the amber lights showed up ahead. At first, I thought it was construction, but as I got closer, I could read the sign. Scale open. All trucks must stop. That made me slow immediately. I'd run that stretch before and didn't remember a scale being out there, but routes change and temporary setups happen. I was heavy that night and the sign was lit, so I took the ramp. The scale itself looked tired. Cracked concrete, dark stains from years of oil and rain, metal rails rusted enough to show their age. The kind of place that looked permanent, not temporary. The scale house windows glowed with a soft yellow light. The door opened as soon as I stopped. A guy stepped out wearing a dark uniform and reflective vest, clipboard tucked under his arm. No rush, no attitude. Calm, steady movements. He felt normal, ordinary. He took my paperwork through the window. His voice was quiet but clear. He disappeared inside for a few minutes while I sat there listening to the idle rumble of the engine and the tick of cooling metal. When he came back out, he asked the usual questions. Pickup, destination, how long I'd been running, any issues with the load. Everything lined up clean. Weight was legal, logs were tight, nothing to flag. He handed my paperwork back through the window and gave a small nod. You're good. Have a safe run. I eased forward and merged back onto the highway. The scale fell away behind me almost immediately, swallowed by darkness. 10 minutes later, I saw red and blue flashing in my mirrors. My stomach dropped. I slowed right away and eased onto the shoulder. Shut it down. Sat there with my hands on the wheel, already running through what I might have missed. Light out, speed drift, something simple. The trooper walked up on the passenger side with his light cutting through the cab. He asked where I'd just come from. I told him my pickup city. Then I mentioned the scale. That's when he paused. He asked me to repeat that. I pointed back the way I'd come and told him I'd gone through a way station about 10 minutes earlier. His expression changed. Not shocked, not aggressive, just tight. He asked me to describe it, so I did. The stained concrete, the rusted rails, the yellow-lit windows, the guy with the vest and clipboard. He stood there silent for a few seconds. Then he said quietly, "There hasn't been an active scale on that highway in over 6 years." I laughed at first, mostly nerves. Told him that couldn't be right. I'd just been there, handed over my paperwork, talked to the officer. The place was lit, doors open. He didn't argue. Instead, he asked what the officer looked like. Same calm voice, same posture, same vest. The trooper nodded slowly and said drivers used to give that same description back when the scale was active. He told me it was shut down after a corruption investigation. Bribes, freight disappearing after inspections, drivers being sent on detours that never matched dispatch routes. They cut power to the building, blocked access once the case wrapped, left the site to decay. He ran my logs right there on the shoulder. Lights, tires, plate, everything checked out. Before he walked back to his cruiser, he leaned in slightly and said, "If you see that scale lit up again, don't stop for it. Call it in and keep moving." He cleared me to leave. I rolled back onto the highway, trying to make sense of it, telling myself maybe I'd mixed up locations, maybe fatigue blurred it, maybe I'd caught a portable setup without realizing it. A few days later, I ran that same route again in broad daylight. That's when I saw where the scale used to be. The old concrete pad was still there, cracked and half swallowed by weeds. The scale house sat dark and boarded up. No power, no signs, no fresh tire marks. Just an abandoned shell baking in the sun like it had been dead for a long time. Exactly where the trooper said it would be. And exactly not how I remembered it that night. That's when I really started questioning everything. Because the truth is, I was tired. Not falling asleep tired, but that slow, foggy kind of tired that sneaks in after too many night runs in a row. The kind that doesn't knock you out, it just makes things feel slightly off. Just enough to make you wonder what you really saw. Just enough to make you second-guess the details. But here's the part I can't explain. My paperwork still had the faint smear of fresh ink on it from where that guy had slid it back through the window. It hadn't been there before that night. And my logs still showed the time where I should have been at a scale. After that run, I asked dispatch to route me a different way. They didn't argue, and I didn't tell them why.